I'm Leon Malan. We're in Colby Sawyer College's Main Street Garden right in New London. We need to start off by acknowledging the fact that we are on ancestral Abenaki land, and Colby Sawyer College celebrates the fact that we are on land of the Abenaki, Wabanaki and Pennacook. So we're going to make something called a three-sister garden. But what we are really doing is we are taking ancient indigenous ways of farming and we are practicing that today. We're finding out how useful it is to have permanent raised beds in which we grow things. So the idea behind the three-sister garden, firstly, we make a permanent raised bed. And so that's not something we're going to plow every year. That bed is going to stay permanent, gives us easy access, heats up better in the beginning of spring, and sometimes the ring around that raised bed will catch water and give it like a water lens underneath. So there's our mound. It took Hannah and I, 2.5 minutes to make that. You can put some compost over the top and we are now ready to plant. The other aspect of three-sister garden is instead of having one long row of crops that all look the same or 500 acres of corn that all look the same, we combine different kind of crops that work together. So in this case we have corn that really like nitrogen and they have shallow roots and grow tall and strong. And next to the corn we're going to plant beans. Beans are nitrogen fixers. Beans pull the nitrogen out of the atmosphere and with the help of bacteria put nitrogen back into the soil, which is what the corn needs. And then at the same time around that we plant some squash, in this particular case crookneck squash. What squash do is they have big leaves and they cover the space, which means the soil is not bare. We maintain our soil moisture, and some of this particular squash species like crookneck squash are also pretty prickly. Deer don't really like to get too close to your corn. So last year we made a row of 13 mounds and we planted them. I left one of them open. All I'm going to start doing is just flattening this a little bit. And I tend to leave just a little slight saucer so that the water doesn't run all over the sides. And so this is a small mound and it won't take too many corn. I plant 5 corn here, which is probably really as dense as you can get. But to help myself, I go about 5 inches or so between every corn. And I do this so that after I planted them, I can come and see when they have germinated. The rule with seeds is you plant the seed, you have as much soil over the seed than the seed is big. So corn seed we're going to plant about that deep. And I just use my finger and I just push that down into the soil. Now if you are planting and not having started anything inside, the rule normally is you have to give the corn a little bit of time before you plant the beans. So when the corn is about 4 to 6 inches, that's when you can plant the beans, and you're going to plant the beans kind of right next to the corn. Since I have the small corn, I can't plant beans that are going to climb up the corn because this corn is not going to grow more than 3 foot. So I'm going to plant a bush corn. And this is also a heritage seed. It's a seed called Jacob's cattle. I'm just going to pop them kind of between my corn. After you planted the beans, you then plant your squash. And so there's going to be 5 beans in here. And then you plant your squash kind of on the end of the mound, and a mound like this will take about 4 squash. So that was starting our three-sister beds, making them to planting them. Stay tuned because there are a number more of these little videos coming. In a couple of weeks time we'll revisit our beds to see how things are growing, to see how our beans are growing. Then we'll have another demonstration specifically on what to do with our corn and how to pollinate the little corn, hand pollinate the corn. And then at the end of the season, we'll talk about the harvest.